So the case I've got is from a guy. It states, I met this girl through a dating app. We started off well and talked very often. We had both small and deep talks, which quickly led to interest in each other. We have talked several times through video chatting and also met once in real life, where she flew all the way here from the US. After we met, we quickly developed feelings for each other and got into a relationship. However, after she went back to the US, things have been starting to get weird. She had been starting to answer slower and slower for each message I've sent her, and she doesn't want to video chat as often as before. Every time I ask her if she wants to video chat, she always says that she doesn't have time or that she has homework to do. I did something that I know I shouldn't do, but I couldn't keep myself from doing it. There is a point system on the app we are talking on, and for every message we send, the point of the account will increase. I was looking on her points over a course of 2 hours, and I saw it increase. However, she's not answering or opening my text, which means that she's talking to someone else. After knowing this, I started to feel a lot of different emotions, such as anger, anxious, and sadness. I don't know what is going on with me. Why am I feeling all these emotions? I'm wondering what I should do here. Should I talk to her about it, or should I just let it go? What is happening here? Or is nothing really happening and it's just me overreacting? First of all, what you're currently feeling is probably called jealousy, which is completely normal. An article called Romantic Jealousy by A.M. Pines and C.F. Bose, originally published in Psychology Today in March 1992, states that mental reaction that occurs when jealousy strikes is actually a biological defensive mechanism used to react to perceived threat to a valid relationship. This means that when you feel that someone or something is threatening a relationship in which you are valuing, you will start to get defensive and feel emotions such as anger, resentment, inadequacy, and helplessness. Once again, this sort of feeling is completely normal. What is happening is that when you are feeling jealous, the body starts to release different hormones. According to an article released by spiritualityhealth.com, jealous males shows an elevated level of testosterone, which is a hormone associated with aggression and competition, as well as cortisol, which is released when you feel stressed. In this case, testosterone is released when you feel threatened and want to protect the valued relationship you have with your girlfriend. And cortisol is released because you feel stressed over the fear of losing someone you like. Also, a recent study carried out by the University of Haifa has found that the hormone oxytocin, or the so-called love hormone, which affects behavior such as trust, empathy, and generosity, also affects the opposite behavior, such as jealousy. To put it simply, this hormone does not only trigger the positive emotions, it also triggers the negative emotions. These three different hormones is produced by three different organs. Most of the testosterone is produced in the testicles for the men, and a small amount is also produced in the adrenal glands, which is also where cortisol is produced. And oxytocin is also produced in an organ called hypothalamus, which is a small organ located at the bottom of the brain. Now, when I explain what could be happening to your emotions and why you are feeling the way you are, the way I'm going to try to explain is what your girlfriend is perhaps feeling and what could perhaps be affecting her behavior. First of all, I'm sorry that I have to say this, but there is obviously something wrong with the relationship if your girlfriend is acting the way she currently is. The first reason for why she is acting this way could be that she is simply bored of the relationship. She may feel that you two have done everything that could be done with the relationship. So because of that, you two have a long distance relationship, it makes it really hard to meet each other. You guys have just met in real life, and now you guys will be going back to only texting and occasionally video chatting, which could cause her to feel that nothing more fun things could be done, and therefore she chooses to find a new person closer to where she lives. There could be more reason for as to why she's bored, but this is just an example. There could be something wrong with the relationship. Could be the equity theory. This theory is when your partner feels that they are constantly at a disadvantage in a relationship. She may think that she is the only one that is sacrificing something in for the relationship. For example, that she flew to where you live, but that perhaps she feels that you don't want to fly where she lives. Perhaps she feels that you are not doing enough for the relationship. This could also mean that she feels that she is too good for the relationship, that she is the one taking charge and dominate the relationship, while you doesn't really do anything else than to conform. Another reason could perhaps be that she has some kind of experience regarding past relationships. She could perhaps have some kind of traumatic experience in which that she hasn't told you. She is perhaps afraid of loving someone again because of her past experiences. Whatever the reason may be for why your girlfriend is acting the way she is, you should find a way to communicate with her. According to me at least, communication is key in a relationship. Without communication, a relationship wouldn't even exist. Because how could you form any kinds of relationship or bonds if nothing is ever getting said? When you eventually find a way to communicate with her, don't perform the four horsemen communication style. Poor communication, or so called four horsemen, could also lead to dissatisfaction in a relationship. The four horsemen is divided into four categories. Criticism, which is when you are attacking the character of the partner. Second is defensiveness, which is when you shift the focus away from the problem onto the partner's flaws. The third is contempt, which is when you are treating the partner with disrespect or ridicule. And the fourth is stonewalling, which is when you withdraw from communicating with your partner. To conclude this case, I want to give you some advice. First of all, don't act out on your jealousy. There is something called the green-eyed monster, which is a term used to describe people that do awful things when they are feeling jealous. Jealousy is something that can lead even the nicest people to do awful things. So before you do something, you should first calm down, take a couple of deep breaths, and then continue to communicate with your girlfriend. My second and last tip is to find a way to communicate with your girlfriend. You ever tried to text her and ask her if she wants to video chat? She answers very slow and says that she doesn't have time. Then, instead of texting her and asking if she wants to video chat with you, you should just call her, either through video chat or through phone. Perhaps she wants you to be more direct and take charge, instead of asking for her permission. And when you're talking to her, don't use the four horsemen communication style. Instead, use the four horsemen antidote theory. This means that when you're talking to her, make a request, address the specific behavior in which you feel that you are upset about, without blaming or attacking her. And then accept responsibility. This means that you should also accept responsibility for the way that you have contributed to the problem without retaliating. Appreciate and respect. This means that you should identify or communicate what you value in her, and if you even if you disagree with her, and also respect and try to understand her view. And lastly, self-soothe and re-engage. This means that if the conversation gets too heated and you want some alone time, you should let your partner know that you are feeling overwhelmed and that you need to take a break from the conflict, and later continue with the conversation when you feel ready. In conclusion, I can't say for sure what is going on with your girlfriend. I can only present a couple of possibilities. So what I recommend you to do is to communicate with your girlfriend and ask her what is going on. And tell her that you're upset, and ask her if something is wrong. It is better to know what is going on than not knowing and speculating what is wrong with yourself. It could perhaps just simply be that that she's having a hard time and want to have some alone time.